So I'm very happy to have you in our midst. People ask this question repeatedly. I want you to now explain, because you're a therapist, you're a relationship therapist. I'm also a marriage counselor. So can you tell us, sir, why is it that relationship therapists experiences failed relationships? It almost look like their relationship does not last. They can't manage their relationships.
Yes, I understand.
So why do you think so, sir?
Well, I believe this video will be sent across to the public. A lot of persons will come across this video, right? Alright, I'll start by saying that it's not as though it's a general problem. One of the reasons why I think it looks as though when it happens to relationship therapists, it looks as though it's a serious thing or something that shouldn't happen is because of the office they occupy. One thing I want you to understand is this: relationship therapists, despite what they do, they are not spirits, they are not saints, they are not angels, they are not perfect. They are human beings, flesh and blood. They are not above mistakes, they are not above errors. They have flaws, they have weaknesses. This is one thing people don't understand. They feel that as long as this relationship has to do with a relationship therapist, it's going to be very perfect, it's going to be the best of it all, there will never be any problem in it. But it's not true. They are not as perfect as you think they are. This is not to justify the fact that they shouldn't do their best. They will always do their best. But one thing I want you to understand is that they are not spirits, they are not saints, they are not perfect. Do you know one of the problems is people that date them, people that are in a relationship with relationship therapists, they will always want to take advantage of that simply because they are dating a therapist, so they feel he or she will be accommodating enough. He or she will understand even their foolishness. I personally am not in support of a therapist being in a relationship that is not favorable for you, yet you insist simply because you want to protect your image as a therapist. What nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. That alone is foolishness. I don't buy that idea. No matter how respectable you are in the society as a relationship therapist, if you're in a relationship that is not favorable for you, please leave with dignity. Are you getting what I'm saying? So insisting on staying in a bad relationship, in a toxic relationship, simply because you want to protect your image as a therapist is on your own part foolishness. I tag it's foolishness. It's not love. It is foolishness. It is not sacrifice. It is unwise. Now back to your question. It's not as though relationship therapists, generally speaking, experience broken relationships. No, not all of them. Some of them may have experienced broken relationships on several occasions, but it doesn't mean that they are not good. It doesn't mean that they were bad, or it doesn't mean that they don't practice what they teach. Sometimes the problem may be coming from the person they are dating. I don't know if you get. That is why it's advisable that if you're a good person, go for somebody who's good. Pastor Mildred Okonkwo once said, no matter how good you are as a person, if you marry the wrong person, you will experience the wrong marriage. And it's true. If you're a therapist and you decide to go for somebody who's not even the one that is meant for you, just because you're a therapist and you feel you can actually manage the person with your knowledge as a therapist, you will fail. You will have failed relationship. You will not succeed in that relationship. I'm telling you the gospel truth. Another thing is dating a relationship therapist that fails to understand that he can be teachable. Are you getting what I'm saying? A therapist who feels he knows it all, that is very perfect, he knows it all, you can't teach him, so he's not teachable. He or she can't bend down to listen to you or to learn from you. Dating that kind of person it's a problem. That kind of relationship therapist who can't bend down to learn from his or her partner will find it difficult to last long in a relationship because nobody would want to deal with that kind of person. One thing I always want the relationship therapist to understand is that they are in a ministry. In fact, a deliverance ministry. Are you getting it? Because as a deliverance minister in the church circle now, your duty is to organize programs where you pray demons out of people's life. Demon spirits that have possessed people to destroy their lives. So you pray and cast out devil out of people. That is deliverance minister, right? Now, similar to what we do as therapists, we talk people out of bad relationships that would have ended their lives, bad feelings, bad moods that would have ended their lives. On several occasions, I've received calls, texts from people. They'll always be like, please, I need somebody to talk to, otherwise I'm going to kill myself. That is what we do. And the devil is not happy about it. And the devil will always fight back. If you are not spiritually sensitive, you will just live all kind of careless life and you keep accumulating bad experiences about relationship. Let me tell you, at any level you are as a therapist, as a relationship therapist, if you feel you've come to a point where you should have nothing again to learn, then you have a problem. No matter the level you are as a relationship therapist, you should be humble enough to keep learning. Keep growing. You've not gotten to the end of it. There are things that your partner who is not a therapist will teach you that even a therapist, you can never hear it from any therapist. You yourself, you may be surprised that you don't know it. That is why you need to bend down and learn. Allow your partner who's not a therapist to teach you. Are you getting what I'm saying? So do you see where the problem is coming from? It's not as though, generally speaking, therapists, they experience bad relationships. Sometimes the problem comes from the person they are dating. Sometimes the problem comes from them who refuses to bend down to listen and learn. So people will always tag them to be perfect, so they are above mistakes, so they should be perfect in all they do, but it's not always so. It's not as though, generally speaking, they have issues, they have problems. It's not as if their relationship don't last. Some of them, the problem comes from them. I also want to advise, if you are in a relationship with a relationship therapist, please try to be fair with them. Try to manage them well. I don't know if I've made it clear to you, sir.